A wonderful good morning to you. Bitcoin at 71,300 US dollars. The party is heating up. Now everyone go long so you don't miss the train and we head towards 500,000 US dollars. And yes, that has to be a little joke on Friday morning. Yes, Bitcoin at 71,200 US dollars. Yes, we've once again reached towards 72,000 US dollars. That's already a good sign. So in the end, that means we've now worked through the heat map to the upside for now, but we haven't formed a higher high. So we've somehow taken another step forward, but also not really. And today there are also important data, numbers, and facts coming up. We'll definitely take a look at all of that. But first, let's take a calm look at things. But before we get started, as always, feel free to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. And of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group as well. Join in if you're interested for updates, news, and signals. Feel free to join. The link for that can be found for free below in the video description. And if you're still looking for an exchange where you can trade everything we discuss here, feel free to sign up with my partner exchange WEEX. Currently, you can get up to 11,500 USDT in bonuses that you can secure for yourself simply by using the link below in the video description. It's the first link. This is where I trade crypto futures. Just sign up and then you're already in. So I'd say let's get started. So Bitcoin is at 71,200 USDT, US dollars. Let's take a look at where the daily close was. Yesterday, it was at 70,800 US dollars. That means we've now gotten an impulse out of the Asia session. Speaking of the Asia session, it was really pretty unnecessary this week. If we take a look at this, we've gone up 3% from the range. Okay, that's not exactly a small amount, but it's also not really a lot right now. But if we look at what's going on in the world at the moment, stock sell-off eases into the weekend as the oil rally ebbs. Yeah, oil has topped out a bit in the last few hours. At least that's how it seems, or at least it appears that way, at $94, $95. But if we think about where we were 3 days ago, just about 10% lower, 10, 12% lower. So in the end, the oil price is still high. There's no easing of the escalation in the Middle East. On the contrary, Israel is now even trying, I believe, to send ground troops into Lebanon. So as you can see, it's expanding rather than getting smaller and smaller. The situation over there remains tense and could easily escalate further. But what's important today, if we look at the economic calendar, is the PCE price data. And that's what's very, very important to poll. But it should also be mentioned here that the data being released today are still old data. That means these are still outdated figures. So if those are already higher, just imagine what will happen when oil prices are factored into the PCE and of course also into the inflation data. Then the whole picture will look completely different again. In addition, the gross domestic product will also be released. This forecast is 1.4%, previously also 1.4%. Let's see if the economy is really doing as well as Donald Trump claims at every one of his campaign events right now. So honestly, we shouldn't miss these data releases at 1:30 p.m. And they will also be extremely important. Otherwise, as I said, the main topic continues to be oil. Oil is currently the measure of all things. If we take a quick look at where we're trading right now, we're at just under $95. In my opinion, I already pointed this out in the live stream yesterday. For me, this zone between $103 and $110 would be an area where I would definitely be willing to get involved because I think we could definitely still see this range. Why? Because there are still quite a few vectors up here and also the golden pocket up here, or rather the 0.786 level and the low AVR are also still up here. So there is a lot up here that still needs to be picked up. Volume is now clearly a bit lower again, but we're also heading into the weekend. We don't know what will happen over the weekend. Maybe even more escalation. So for me, it's still oil, still long. But ultimately, gold and silver also remain stable. For Bitcoin, yes, we're now getting our slight recovery. If we take a look at the heat map, in the end, nothing has really changed. To the downside, everything is completely empty down to about 69,000. To the upside, our cluster is around 72,000. We've been looking at this all week. Yay, we're finally here, this target. Other than that, the larger clusters are still below us, 68,000, 67,000, and then down here at 63,000. That's just what you see on the 7-day heat map. Let's take it one step higher. That means looking at the monthly view and take a quick look at what's currently lying around there. And in the end, we see a pretty similar picture there. Now, there's hardly anything left above us. So this whole range between 74,000 and let's say 65,000 has now been completely cleared out. Everything is either lower or only marginally higher. If we also take a look at the spot order book, we basically see the same picture. So the volume we're getting in right now is absolute sell volume. between 30 to 40 million in sell pressure, selling pressure. That means spot is being sold off massively. My problem? Because basically we assume that when spot is being sold, prices rise since offers are being made to drive prices up. The bids that have come in here to the amount of, wow, let's say $4 million at just under 71,000 US dollars. That's too little. Way, way too little, in my opinion. There's massive selling going on here, especially heading into the weekend. And that's even though the price has only risen marginally. With so much selling pressure, we should be much, much higher. For me, this currently looks more like an exit rally, or rather a fake rally, also judging by the volume if we take a look at it. Spot is absolutely absent. So at the moment, there are no bids indicating, yes, we want to buy Bitcoin, we want to buy Bitcoin. But right now, there are a lot of offers that keep selling and selling. And in my opinion, that's a misleading picture that's simply deceiving us right now. So as long as the volume is so heavily in sell mode and the prices somehow aren't rising, you can see it here. Since today at 1:30 in the morning, we've basically been stable. We're in a range between $71,000 and $71,500. And it's just going on and on in one go. 30, 40 million in spot sales. Normally, when we've seen such sales volumes in the past, it was always a sign that we were about to go all in, to the moon, especially since it's spread out over the entire day. While the bids, meaning the green bars, are absolutely decreasing, and we can also take a look at the whole thing on a larger time frame. Just so you have an overview, you can see here how massively things have been sold in the last few hours, even though we've barely gone up. And the bids, the green ones, are basically not there at all. That personally worries me a bit, especially now with the weekend coming up. I've said it before, weekends for me are like, on Saturday, I get this feeling that something could happen. Saturday, Sunday, who knows? Let's see if it actually happens. But at the moment, Bitcoin is simply unusable, just like the altcoins, Ethereum. Same game again, a brief volume spike, liquidity grabbed, and immediately back down. So to be honest with you, none of this looks sustainable to me right now. But let's just wait and see. All right, then let's move on to the 13 main markets. The dollar is just under 100. And 100 means, on the one hand, that people are moving more and more into risk-off mode, even more than they already are. We'll take a look at gold in a moment. But gold means a dollar at 100, of course, also means that the Bank of Japan wants to raise its interest rates and finally get rid of its carry trade. Or rather, first sell off its US debt in order to support its yen currency. If we take a look at the yen, which is completely collapsing and has almost filled its inefficiency down here, they really need to step in now, slowly but surely. And that could happen faster than we can watch. And if the dollar is already at 100 now, to me that means, oh, uncertainty, even greater uncertainty. Let's look at government bonds, which are now at 3.75% because there will be no more interest rate cuts this year. A few weeks ago, I already said that I no longer expect any rate cuts this year, probably even a rate hike, and people laughed again. And now 2-year government bonds are at 3.74% and 5-year bonds are at 3.8%. That's our time frame for what could happen in the coming weeks and months. Because if short-term bonds are already this high, it's assumed that the Fed might follow suit. The ECB will have to raise its interest rates in July and probably again in December. Now, Japan is coming around the corner and they also have to raise their interest rates. That means we're shifting from an easing cycle to more of a lousy cycle, you could say. So those times are over for the first time. This could also put a bit more pressure on the stock markets as soon as the word rate hike comes up in the US. Trump gave another little warning yesterday, saying, yes, Poland definitely has to cut interest rates. Oh, come on, stop it. I won't say it now, but you all know what I mean. Gold for me is super stable at the moment. I was asked yesterday why gold is dropping, right? Gold actually isn't dropping all that much. Considering that we're not getting an interest rate cut, that we actually should be getting a rate hike, and that the dollar is so strong, gold is really, really stable. And as long as gold remains this stable, for me personally, it just means that another leg up is simply going to come. That's my humble opinion on the matter. So I can imagine the same thing for silver, that we could also see another leg up here. The uncertainties are far from over. And the next thing that's likely to happen is Japan coming around the corner with the carry trade, if the dollar goes above 100 in the next few days. It will probably be difficult this weekend, but next week we definitely need to keep an eye on it. Otherwise, the 13,000 markets are DAX, Dow Jones, and Nasdaq 100. Still at support, the selling volume is significantly higher. S&P 500, the selling volume is increasing, and we've finally broken out of our range. We'll have to see. Now, how far this thing will drop, but for me, an area around $6,500 would be a level where I'd say, okay, that would be the next point. But if we then fall below that, so below this 6,500 point mark, then things are going to look bad. And then this entire upward movement here will probably take a significant hit for now, and we'll probably end up somewhere down here in this area, possibly at 5,700 points. That would really be a dream scenario because, as I said, we've been short for ages now, but we'll have to see. It's still a bit too early to put that out there now, but the markets are definitely slowly moving in the right direction. We're entering correction mode, but there's still one thing missing, and that's Nvidia and Google. If they don't correct, the markets will only be sold off slowly but steadily. Well, let's see what else happens over the weekend. We'll definitely talk again. Oh, no, wait. I just wanted to quickly check the volatility index again. By the way, it's still at 24.4. That's not a sign of relaxation. That's not a sign of relaxation, none at all. We are currently hedging our positions ahead of the next big move, which could possibly take us somewhere up into the $30,000 range here, before we might enter a brief period of market consolidation and then go back down before the next hedge comes at some point further down the line. Okay, but now for real. So thank you very much to everyone who watched until the end. Yes, I know, it was bearish again. But as I said, I can't bring anything positive to the table at the moment. I'm sorry, I'm trying my best, but as I said, you can remember, I already apologized yesterday during the live stream because many people complained. Why are you so bearish? Sorry, I'd rather be bearish during these times and then turn bullish when there's really blood in the streets. But at the moment, well, there's no other way. That's it from me for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you very, very much. We'll hear from each other again on Sunday for the live stream. I'm looking forward to it. And otherwise, I wish everyone a wonderful weekend. Leave a like, subscribe, join the Telegram group. Until then, ciao, ciao, and as always, stay cool.